Hello dear learners, today we will discuss about a statistical test, that is Z-test. So let us start with the lecture. So what is Z-test? When we can apply the Z-test? This is the first question. When we can use the Z-test? So to measure the significance of several statistical measures. For example, generally we have to use Z-test to measure the mean. Then, for comparing the mean of a sample to some hypothesized mean for the population, we can use Z-test to compare the mean of sample to some hypothesized mean for population. Means we have to compare the sample and population over here. Now, when we have to measure the significance of difference between means of two independent sample in case of large sample, or when population variance is known, at that time also we can apply the Z-test. Now, these are some assumptions of Z-test. First is, here the population is normally distributed and the sample size should be more than 30. So here the number of samples should be more than 30, means this test can be applied for a larger sample, and the sample is drawn at a random, means we can use the random sampling for this Z-test. Now these are some steps for Z-test, means how can we perform the Z-test. So first step, we have to first define the problem, means first we have to define the research problem. After getting the problem, we should state the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. This is the steps of a research hypothesis. After that, after getting this null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis, we can find the Z value. And the Z is equal to, this is the equation to find the Z value from this hypothesis, the observed mean minus the standard error. After getting Z value, what we can do? We have to fix the level of significance. And after that, we can compare the result, means we can compare the calculated Z value with the value in the table corresponding to the degree of significance. So these are the steps how we can perform the Z-test. Now, so we can apply the Z-test for a two purpose, one-tail Z-test and two-tail Z-test. Now we will see the one-tail Z-test and two-tail Z-test. The Z value on each side of mean are calculated as plus Z, or we can say as a minus Z. When it is plus and when it is minus, so a result is larger than the difference between the sample mean, it will give a plus Z. But when the result will be smaller than the difference, it will give the minus Z. Now we will see the example. What is one-tail test? When we can say the test is a one-tail Z-test, and when we can say the test is a two-tail Z-test. So when we can say the test is a single-tail test, when we can say that. For example, in a test of significance, when one wants to know specifically whether a result is larger or smaller than what occur by chance, the significant level, or we can say p-value, will apply to the relative and only, and that this and is known as tail. For example, if we want to know the malnourished have lesser mean IQ than a well-nourished, then the result will be lie at one end of the distribution, and that end we can say a tail. So only at one tail our result should be lie, or we are getting the result at one end. That's why this test is called single tail test. Now what is the two tail test? So for two tail test, for example, in a test of significance when one wants to determine whether the mean IQ of a malnourished children is different from that of all well-nourished and does not specify higher or lower. See, in first one-tailed test, what was that? Here what happened? Here we should know Here we want to know the result is larger or smaller. But here there is no specification of higher or lower. We have to identify the p-value of an experiment group include both sides of extreme results at both end of the scale. Either this or this. Right? That's why the test is called two-tailed test. Means we can get the extreme result at both the end. That is known as tail. So it is known as two-tailed test. Now we can see which formula we can apply and when we have to apply this formula. When we can apply this formula. So the population may not be normal but sample size is large. So variance of population may be known or unknown. And the alternative hypothesis may be one-sided or two-sided. In such a situation, we can apply this equation. So this is the equation of Z. When this equation is applied, this applies in case of infinite population. When variance of a population is known, this is applied in case of infinite population. Right? When the population is known, but when variance is not known, what we can do? We can replace this sigma p, means standard deviation of population, by using the SS, means what? Standard deviation of sample. Okay, we can replace this population by this sample when this is not known. What is this? This is the null hypothesis, value of null hypothesis. This n means the number of sample and sigma p means a standard deviation of population. So generally here the standard deviation of population is known, but sometimes if it is not known, we can replace it by standard deviation of sample. Now this is the another formula to find the Z value. We can see that here you can say that this capital N means number of population and small n means number of sample. When this formula we can apply? So this apply in case of finite population. Means what? When variance of population is known, but when variance is not known, here also we can use the standard deviation of sample in place of standard deviation of population. So here this population is infinite, but here the population is finite. So these are the different formula. By using this we can identify the Z value. In the next lecture we will see some examples of Z value. We can see the use of this formula with the calculations. So we will solve some research problem. Thank you. Have a happy learning.